Hail to you. I am Dee, and this is still Samhain Month. Ah yes, Hellraiser. It all started with one short story by Clive Barker turned into one movie which was successful enough to warrant a sequel. And as is often the case, they don't stop at one sequel, they have to make another. And another. And another. A whole series, as it were. And if you thought the last movie was bad because it took the idea of hell way too literally, the next is worse. Hellraiser. I've heard it mentioned on many forums, but haven't been able to watch it. So far, I've only been able to find the third movie. It looks like finding the first two movies, or even the book that the first one's based on, is a lot harder than I'd like. No matter, let's take a look. So we start the movie with... and immediately I'm drawn in. I don't know what happened in the first two movies, but just the combination of that music and the subtitle Hell on Earth, this has to be good. Given how bombastic the music sounds, I shudder to think just how literally they're gonna take the idea of hell. We then cut to a cowboy in New York who's out shopping. And after a quick look around, he finds himself... I have no idea, but I'm sure it'll be explained later. Is that supposed to be that pillar from the end of the last movie? It looks a little... different. No matter. He buys the silly thing, upon which we cut to our main protagonist, Joey, who's trying to make it big on TV. Why does that sound familiar?
This is Joey Summerskill for Channel 8, Emergency Room. Very bored. No story, no life. Really, really pissed off.
Well, you can always work for Fox.
And lighten up. The story of your life could be right around the corner.
And wouldn't you know it, her story comes around the corner.
You ever seen anything like this before? Yeah, sure.
Why is it that the best stuff always happens when there's no camera around? Also, weren't scenes like this a little gorier in the other two movies? Makes you wonder what they spent the budget on.
Wait, please, I need to talk to you. I wasn't even with him. Look, lady, I told you, it's not my problem. I was just there, right? Where? The boiler room.
With this boiler room being her only clue, Joey goes out to investigate. I suppose that's meant to be ironic. Wow, there's a lot of build-up to this. So after talking to some people, she's led to some guy named JP, who owns the place. And who else would this JP be but...
Do you own this place?
that cowboy from before.
Right.
Wanna bet he's an a-hole like Frank?
I don't think I'm your type. You see, I'm out of grade school.
I'm beginning to like Joey, a woman who doesn't take kindly to people like him. Well, I suppose after turning Kirsty into an idiot in the last movie, this woman can only be an improvement. Next, we are watching Apocalypse Now. Of course it's a dream sequence.
Where are you
As luck would have it, however, that girl from before, named Terry, calls her up and they meet up to talk.
But the chains, where did the chains come from?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. He said it came out of this.
That little thing made chains appear? This movie is getting weirder by the second. The next morning, Terry explains she knows where that statue from before comes from, so the two look for the store.
So, what are we looking for?
Anything. Contacts, clues, anything. This place is a scam. Half the stuff out there was picked up for pennies. High school art classes, bankruptcy sales.
And closed down lunatic asylums. Property of the Chenard Institute? Hey, Joey.
Yeah?
Check it out.
What exactly happened in the first two movies? Meanwhile, JP is... so do I even need to say what he's doing?
But you gave me a rose.
Tomorrow, I'll give one to somebody else.
I can't fucking believe you. You bastard! You get me in here!
Like, yeah, like you were fucking gunpoint. You stupid.
Look at you. You think you're some
Not
goddamn
sure if I should
something.
side with her because he's an a-hole, or side with him because she's a... Whoa! A pillar that tears people apart? Wish I had one of those. Oh, I see. They had skinless people in the first two movies, so there had to be one in this movie, one way or another. Just how lazy can this get? Anyway, the pillar... well, you can see it for yourself.
Jesus Christ.
Not quite.
No comment. The best line in the whole movie.
Oh, how touching. That is the gun you used to kill your parents?
A demon that can just know all your crimes. Definitely a force to reckon with. How did he know that? Pinhead may have a lot of powers, but it was never hinted that he's clairvoyant. Anyway, you know how this goes. JP makes a Faustian deal with Pinhead, he brings in people to sacrifice, and Pinhead will reward him. I'm sorry, but need I remind you of this?
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
And yet here, you're so obviously a demon. No ambiguity, no... nothing. Moving along. The next morning, Joey receives a tape from the insane asylum mentioned earlier.
I don't know what the box is, but I know what it does. Look, I've said all this before.
Never mind who that girl on a tape is, why would any asylum release session tapes with the press? Oh well, why should I let that one plot hole ruin the rest of the movie?
Demons live in the box. It's a gateway to hell. Look, I know you don't believe me. I know how it sounds. What else? What else?
When did they make that tape? She was never in the asylum long enough for that tape to be made. How can it even exist?
She's telling the truth, Joey.
Hey, it's that World War II guy from the second movie. How's he doing this? And who, pray tell, is that? This is getting more and more interesting. Next, we find ourselves in Vietnam again. So yeah, her father gets shot and it's the same... I'd make a Saving Private Ryan joke, but that movie didn't even exist yet. Terry, meanwhile, confused as all hell, yeah, that's really the best I could come up with, returns to her old boyfriend.
Yes, I want to hug you. You know, I want to hold you. I want to tell you it's all right. Come to daddy.
Come to daddy? Oh sure, have him say that because it wasn't the first movie. If you thought I'll be back was overused. But this goes as well as you'd expect. He tries to force her to the pillar, she fights back and actually wins.
Wait!
Now with this last errant boy out of commission, of course he'd make a new deal with Terry. And she accepts. Finally, he gets what's coming to him. This final sacrifice leads to... well, watch. Why is only Pinhead released? The other 3 Cenobites were in that pillar too. What happened to them? So now that he's free, he starts... Gary, eat your heart out. Yeah, I know what some of you are thinking. Maybe you like it better in this movie because we actually know these people. Which is fair enough, but because we know these people, we know they had it coming. Which we don't here. For all we know, they might be as evil as those teens from Carrie, or they could be innocent. But to our villain, it makes no difference. Really? You had to go down this way? The Pinhead I know would stop other Cenobites from doing this to someone he thought didn't deserve it. In other words, the Pinhead in this movie doesn't have the restraints that he showed in earlier movies. So he went from an ambiguous and sophisticated character to a plain villain. In the meantime, Joey is living through World War II again.
Forgive me. My name was Spencer. Elliot Spencer.
Finally, he has a name.
Elliot? What the hell is going on?
Hell is exactly what is going on, Joey.
Is it some kind of rule that whoever works on a sequel is forbidden to watch the first movie?
A dream of one war is a dream of all wars. Your dreams of finding your father let me find you and bring you to this place. This
bit of a weak explanation, but I'll take it.
What do you want me to do?
There is a monster out there, Joey, and it's me.
I don't see it, but I'll take your words for it.
Monster as I was bound by laws. Hell has its commandments too, you know. The box had to be opened to let me out. The truly innocent was safe.
Does that mean that Kirsty wasn't innocent? Or are you just making this up as you go? So Spencer basically recaps the last movie and implores Joey that he needs her help.
Then what can we do?
There is something we can do.
It's the box, Joey. He has to destroy it.
With this new information, Joey wakes up, watching the news, talking about Pinhead's little riot at the boiler room, which she of course checks out, taking the box with her. Arriving there, she gazes upon what Pinhead has done with the place. Now we know where most of the budget went into. Finally, Joey encounters Pinhead. He tries to take the box, but she flees. However, as she runs, everything tries to kill her. Electric wires, hydrants, cars... Basically a typical New York night. Eventually escaping the killer streets, she meets with...
Oh, Doc, no.
Some new Cenobites? Why not? Why just those 5? I mean, there are tons more you could have used. Like... Bulbhead, Cyberman, Stiletto, Pizza Face... But I digress. She's eventually surrounded, and of course, in the nick of time, she figures out how the box works.
Play with this pinhead!
Well, I suppose that name had to be mentioned at least once in one of the movies, one way or another. The box finally captures Pinhead and friends, so you think the movie is over. But nope, Joey passes out and Pinhead now haunts her dreams. Yeah, I know, it's a bit more complicated than that, but let's just keep it simple.
Couldn't resist playing games, could you?
Alright, almost forgot he was in this movie.
Well, now you're in my dominion. And now... we're going to hell. Ladies first.
Focus. Spencer agrees to merge with Pinhead, allowing room for Joey to be released. She picks up the box and somehow figures out how to turn it into a spike. Come on! At least Tiffany was obsessed with solving puzzles, so it made sense if she solved it as fast as she did.
Go to hell.
Pinhead's captured, Joey wakes up, she walks over to the construction site and buries the box in the concrete. Making me wonder what it would do to the dead bodies that are possibly hidden in there as well. As an added bonus, we get to see the building once it's finished. Oh. Evil just won't be contained. How does that even begin to make any sense? Whatever, the movie's over. Now some of you are probably wondering, why did I review this movie the way I did? Well, let me put it this way. I can see why so many fans hate this movie. After all, it contradicts the earlier movies, has some lines in it for no other reason than the fact that they were in the first movie, and Pinhead was treated like just another movie monster instead of the more dignified, ambiguous character from the first two. So yeah, I should hate this movie too. But I don't. And how could I? It was the first Hellraiser movie that I saw. I had no idea what the first two movies were like, so I could only take the movie as it is. As a sequel, this movie would fall flat on its face. But if it were the first in the series, I'm sure everyone would have loved it. It's because of this that this movie continues to be my personal favorite in this whole series. This was D, and the 31st is still ages away.